So I'm been kind of exploring doing some 3D modeling of uh, things to print on my, yeah, this side, 3D printer back there. You can actually see I did print this helmet from Etsy. I bought it off, forget his name on Etsy. You can't see it, but up here I have a jet pack thing, or oxygen pack actually, for the astronaut that I made in Cinema 4D. Same with down in this corner, there's a little skull there I made in Cinema 4D. And then this guy was printed off, I can't remember which site, but some site. And then right now I'm printing a piece that I made in this program, Adobe Medium. So just thought it would be fun to try doing a little stream of this, see if people had any interest in that. Um, it's kind of a cool program because you can just kind of, draw in space if you want to, and then theoretically I could just print that. Actually, let me see what this looks like to you guys so I understand. Okay, good. Yeah, so you're seeing pretty much what I'm seeing. Um, Only in 2 dimensions. So yeah, I could print that thing. Obviously, that's not ideal. I am getting a little latency, so that I'm not sure what that is, but um, so I'm gonna open up. Let's see, file open or load. Um, does take a second. I'm using the Quest 1, so I don't have the cool linkless feature, so I have to use the link right now. At some point, I'll probably switch over to that. So these are a bunch of models that I put together. This one is very kit bashy, just grabbed random things and pulled them around. This guy was kind of learning to use layers. I did a couple weird experiments with just making assets. I'll show you a little bit of that. You can make like individual pieces that you use in your piece. Um, and then I just kind of started making this guy some little gnome guy. See, I don't know if you can see it clearly on there, but um, this guy's like a mask. I got into masks. Actually, I have a mask behind me that I printed. It's pretty big. I'll probably make a separate video where I kind of show off the things I make. This is a weird alien with another alien in his mouth. Maybe I'll show some of these just before I start, crafting away. Would you like to? No, there's nothing in this current scene. Um, so you can see this wild guy. Um, made this little monster, this little alien first, and then he's wearing this monster. I was kind of thinking I was gonna like build a whole body for him or something, but you know, this is all very experimental. Me just kind of getting to understand the tools. Um, Adobe Medium is really fun because it is very like, just play and figure something out. So we got a couple robot hard surface things I played with in here. I can show you the prop that's printing behind me. Let's do that one. There was that cartoony guy. So this is what's printing on the 3D printer behind me. It's about that big. Actually, I guess I don't know what scale looks, to you it's all 2D, so it doesn't matter. But to me, I'm putting it kind of the right scale. Theoretically, I'm kind of new to this, but theoretically, my idea is that I'm going to set my iPad on there. It's kind of a cool sci-fi piece of art and prop, um, but also something I can set my iPad on if I want to watch, just kind of have fun dual functionality. That's something I'm having fun with right now is like the idea of making something that's a cool sci-fi prop for my place, but also has some sort of other functionality, like maybe have a thing that holds my keys, but also, is some cool sci-fi looking weirdness. Um, so you can see I put all kinds of little wires in there. I tried to make it so this will print without supports. That's something that I'm kind of focused on right now. I really don't like, tearing off the ports, and it's also kind of a cool challenge to try to build within the restrictions of making it so that when you start 3D print, everything can kind of be laid down without having big overhangs and stuff. This one I'm kind of learning a couple things like these little guys down here, right here, these guys, uh, those look fine to me in here, but when you print them, they're so thin. If you're printing it like down this side, size. They're so thin that the pressure from the nozzle putting the material down actually ends up breaking some of them. So I'll actually probably, in fact, I'll just show you real quick my plans for that. Um, so let's see. Do I have the clay tool? And we'll make it a little bigger. And then for that, I will. Oh wait, let's actually make sure I have my symmetry on. Yeah, mirror. Cool. So I'll. Ooh, actually. Oh yeah, okay. Um, so I'll actually just remove that guy. I'll probably do a better job of this when I'm not trying to move on to other things, but get the idea. I'll clean off these things, just because, like I said, I want these things to print as easy as possible. Not have a bunch of supports. I don't want things breaking off and stuff. Um, I have had thoughts of like possibly selling. So you see both sides got cleared off because they got mirrored. And then I'll clear off these guys in here. Um, so I have had thoughts of like selling these on Etsy as kind of a way to pay for this little creative process of buying filament and testing prints and doing that kind of stuff, or some sort of site. I just happen to use Etsy a lot, so I feel like it might be a place I'm comfortable to put my projects. We'll see how these ones print actually. It hasn't gotten that high on the print yet, so if any of them like survive, I may leave them on. I do think it's kind of cool to have these little things. I imagine probably the same with these little guys. Those guys might be too thin in there. I may either add some support behind them or just take them out. But basically, I'm kind of letting it print and seeing um, where there's going to be failure points. Um, I tried to not have like anything that's too much of an overhang, so the material can print out over itself. Obviously, if something's hanging out too far, then the material's just going to fall and it's not going to print onto anything. So that's kind of the restrictions I'm working within. I have done a couple things. Let's load another one here. This robot I'm probably going to print next. In fact, that's probably what I'll work on right now. Got some weird aliens and stuff. A terrible joke I was trying to make for my friend, but I did it too quickly. It was not funny. Um, let's see. Yeah, this is a weird. Some of the stuff is like this thing is like a plant thing or alien technology. Let's see. Do you want to save the current scene? Yes, actually, because we did some little mods we're gonna keep. Um, so actually, let me just, in case someone happened to pop in the chat. Oh, we got a couple people in here. That's fun. Um, no one talking, but uh, which is fine. I can't respond easily. So this is cool. I just thought this was a cool little like alien plant rock thing. I have a script where I need something to be like a sacred object, sacred ancient object. So I wanted to make something that was like almost familiar, but not quite clear if it was from this world or if it was man-made or naturally made. Um, got a cat hair on my nose. Um, yeah, so this thing, I'll probably print this thing out and use this as a prop in that script. That's the thing I'm really excited about is I can print props and print like scene elements, costumes, all kinds of stuff with this. Um, Kind of right now, my big limitation is how slow it is printing with one printer. So I'm trying to figure out if I'm going to buy another of the same printer or wait until there's a faster printer out because it does seem like the technology is kind of at that critical point where it's growing very quickly. I already, since I bought this one, and see that companies are announcing better printers, even Creality, the company I bought from. What am I doing? Loading. All right, so I'm going to open up this robot. So this one has a bunch of reference that I was looking at. I like different elements from these different guys. Um, I don't. Uh, this guy, I wish I had the names of the artist. Oh, that's from Detroit. Yeah, I don't have the name of the artist, unfortunately. This guy's on Turbo Squid though. He does. If you look up Dmitriev, I think. If you look up, why is it taking so long to load? Oh, right, this one's kind of high res. Um, anyway, if you look up 3D artists, sorry, robots on Turbo Squid, um, a lot of his work is some of the first stuff to come up. Not sure where this one came from. Just, Google image search, or actually Pinterest. I do have a Pinterest where I store like all my reference stuff that I'm looking at. And you can see actually the head of this guy is really what inspired me. Let's see, I made down res this one because it's taking so long to load, and actually it's very hard to print something at this scale. Because basically the way this thing works is you can see, I don't know if you can see the black box around it, but that's basically the volume that I'm working in. So when it's very small like this, it means that there's a lot of points per inch. If I make it bigger and I'm working in a smaller space, so for instance, actually, I'm going to kind of clean up this space. I don't really want to be uh, using other people's art on screen that I am not having their credits to tell you. I'll try to look them up and link to their stuff after the stream is done. Let's see, what was I going to do? Oh yeah, so if I select this guy, um, so I can decrease the resolution, which I've kind of found is a good way to handle these things that you've gone too high resolution with, um, because if I export this with 23 million triangles, it's going to be very hard to 3D print it. In fact, my computer actually, I fill up the RAM, so it won't 3D print. So I actually have to down res it a few times, which is fine. It actually still looks great. Um, and actually, I've found that if I just let it detail to whatever res, I can usually bring it down a couple levels before I start seeing that difference. As you can tell, there's like a lot of loading happening when you get up into the higher resolutions too. So the more you can bring down the resolution, the faster you can move, and the less you worry about this kind of thing. Just checking in. See, we got a couple people stopped in for a sec. We got one person hanging out. That's fun. Hey there. Uh, Still loading. They need like a little Pong game you can play while it's loading these big files. I might actually down res it one more time, unfortunately, but it should go a little faster with the next one. That little cute camera in the background there, you can apparently adjust it to like kind of take your pictures of what you want the thing to be and maybe export them or something. I haven't messed too much with it, um, but neat little feature. I'm very excited to see because right now, so this was an Oculus app, um, Adobe Medium, that now's been purchased by Adobe, and I think Adobe's gonna start making it so you can use it on other devices as well. Oh, there we go. Now it's generating. So might be cool if there's a Apple Glass at some point where I just am wearing light little glasses on my head. I can, um, or I mean, who knows? Maybe Facebook will have that first. Um, but either way, if I could just have some light glasses on. So that's the main discomfort with this for me, actually. There's a little delay with this Quest, but the main thing is the weight over time definitely is uncomfortable for me. Um, I'm getting a little crackling in my headset. Hopefully that's not coming through in the stream. Probably should have down res these before I did a stream about it. This is all a fun experiment. See if people will tune in or people will watch it back afterwards. And if people like this and want me to do more making things or 3D print content, I'll probably do some more. I have been just kind of I have a little like couch thing there that I usually just sit on and do my art, which is very relaxing. Um, throw in some jams. So, hi, Dreamer. Ah, that's fun. Exciting to have people in the chat. Cool. This is probably low enough resolution that I'll start working with it. It's mostly loaded, it looks like. Yeah, there we go. Um, so the main thing with this thing that I'm printing out is that the plan is, oh shoot, actually that's still, let's see. Oh, I'm in the menu. Ooh, that's pretty good. We'll probably keep it there. So anyway, the point is I want to print this guy and I want to print him big because I actually want to hang this giant like, robot in my office. I think that'd be really cool. So let's go ahead and make a new layer. And then if you double tap this button over here, it makes it either positive or negative. So I can, and I have this, I have the mirror on, so it's obviously going to match. And then I also can do things like, oops, wrong button. I still am getting used to all the menus. I can do angle snap, which is great for, starting out your, roughing out your character shapes if he's a hard surface character. Obviously not everyone's going to think that's the way to go with hard angles, but, I like to have, oh, that's one other thing I like to use too. Um, the line tool will make it so that your, they stick to a specific line. So if I'm like, okay, I want this robot to have like this kind of shoulder setup, that's going to come down, and then let's do vertical. And then I can go in and detail this as I go. Right now I'm not thinking too much about what the printing process is going to look like. Once I have a little bit more laid out, I'll start figuring out what parts need to be fixed in order to make it so that the print happens as naturally as possible. I try to stick within like 45-degree angles. Oh, that one's far off. Let's just because generally 45-degree angles are something that are pretty easy to print in 3D. Let's see, actually, I'm going to grab the move tool, and this is kind of bigger than I want his chest to be, so I can just grab the whole thing with the move tool, shrink it down a little bit. And then let's set up like some kind of inside, I'll make this smaller, set up some inside framework for how this guy functions. Let's see. And I actually, admittedly, am already, now I just kind of was having some thoughts of like, okay, I think I'm going to print from this backside. So now, I'm already like thinking a little bit about that. Let's see, there we go. This little sternum thing happening here. You can actually have like a little bit of an overhang like this. I probably will not for now, just because I'm trying to play it as safe as possible with these early guys, and then once I start crafting a little more, or getting better at understanding what I can and can't do with the print, I can get a little more risky. Let's actually cut that part clean right there. And then I kind of want to have like a point under here where these two sync up, right? Because there's going to be a neck piece of some kind. So this is very interesting. I've never tried uh, explaining, well, never. It's not like I've been using this program a bunch, but new to explaining what my creative thoughts are in this program, which is funny because it's such a free form system that trying to explain your every thought is definitely a little bit extra. Let's see. Go. Gonna have that little piece going. Then I'll probably have like a forward angle. Sometimes it's a little hard with these angles to get that. There we go. Um, and then we'll set up. I'm gonna switch to a sphere. Spheres seem to print pretty easily, so they're good starting points for. You're like, okay, I need a ball joint to exist here. Um, you can put that sphere in, and then I will probably put something just on the base of this, like maybe some wires or something. Let's actually do. I'm gonna grab this guy. Oops, wrong button. Oop, there we go. Grab this guy. Put a little hole for whatever the neck. Probably gonna design the neck and like shoulder. Oops, neck and shoulder pieces separate as far as like how those like what is the thing that connects these two. Because I do want to do motion capture for this. Set it up so I can do motion capture for this robot. So I have a CG version of this robot and a that's kind of interesting. And that's what's kind of fun about this is you can kind of just play and get more and more detail. And then, if you're like, this part's not coming out, let's see. You can just kind of scrap it and put something else in its place. Um, Here's another cool thing. So I can go to, sorry, this is probably very close for seeing what I'm doing. So if I go to mechanical, you can find pieces that are kind of already fabricated. I've made some of my own. So basically, you can go to like custom here. These are a bunch of the experiments I've done where I kind of make a shape and then you select it and make it a tool. Like this one I use to make like hose looking stuff. So if I want to have, let's see, let's make a hose going through the middle of this guy, right? So actually, let's make two hoses. They'll go right up the middle as if they're driving the mechanics of this thing. I'll have to make some support on those if I am going to try to print from the back here instead of vertically, which I think is still the plan. Um, and actually, let's see. Actually, this is probably not the. I'm gonna delete those now because I just realized that doesn't look very hose-like, obviously. So if I turn off line, let's turn off. Uh, Back to the understanding the menus. Let's turn off our angle limits and let's make this hose a little more free-flowing. There we go. That looks a little more like some sort of hose system. Still a little bit more jumpy than I want, so I'm gonna try one more time here. Oh, actually, one more cool thing I can do with this. So if I hold the left trigger on this, I can actually kind of smooth this stuff out, right? So I can make it look less like it's individual geometry and more like it's some sort of fabricy hose thing happening. There we go. Smooth that side out. Looks a lot more like fabric now. Also, another nice feature of that is that it also makes it easier to print, right? Because those steep overhangs are going to be harder for the printer to be able to do. And the cool thing is I can just aim at the other side because it's all mirrored, so it's not a problem to I don't always have to grab the whole object and like fly around it to get to every point. Sometimes I can just, you know, do a nice little shoot through the geometry to fix something. Um, see here. So I'm doing all of this on one layer right now, which I actually uh, probably wouldn't have done if I was doing this by myself. There's that whole element of thinking about too many things at once, so you leave out an element. But if this was on a separate layer, which I'll do a separate layer thing now to kind of show you. But if this was on a separate layer, I could, more easily isolate what I was smoothing and just focus on this cool tube effect thing that I've put together. But so I'll do for the arm rotation piece, I'll do a separate layer now. Uh, oh, come on. Why is this? There we go. Still hitting the wrong keys there. It is funny. I'm more aware of how my body moves when I'm doing this because I'm all, very crunched up when I'm working on this. Never had a camera on me while I was doing it, so I never thought about it. Interesting. Cool. So we got some hoses going on in there. That's neat. Um, let's do these arm rotation pieces. I'm gonna do a new layer, and I'm actually gonna up because the scale on a new layer tends to be, actually, looks like it started the new layer pretty dense, so I'm gonna actually not, I'm gonna even decrease it more. But generally, it seems like it starts out the new layers with uh, pretty small. Now that I'm saying that though, I'm realizing I may have just learned something that it might use your least dense geometry to decide. All right, so here's a tool that just came with the software. So I can say I want to have this arm joint. Let's set up this arm joint. How high do we want this thing? And also how far forward? I think maybe here we'll do a little bit smaller. And then I can see there's these little bubble things on it. So we'll just see how this looks. Takes a little bit of a second to generate. Interesting. Look bad. I think I can roll with that. Let's add some spheres to this. Like I said, I really like the spheres as kind of a rotational joint, partially because, when I make this a mocap object, if you're rotating off a sphere, that wasn't very well centered. If you're rotating off a sphere, it's much easier for a rotation to look natural. If you have like rigid, like for instance, actually, let's see if I can pull up this guy. Like for instance, this guy, right? If I were to use that thing, you can see. I'll just draw one so you can see it bigger. Um, so if I use this thing as a joint, you can see that clearly it's supposed to only rotate one way, which is like this, right? So then I have to add a limitation to that rotation so that when I'm doing the motion capture for it, it's not going to have it bend this way and look completely wrong on that joint. So it's kind of nice to just lean on spheres, especially for like robotic things, to be like, okay, that's an easy thing to rotate off. And then I'm going to be honest. Oh, did that not select? Oh, it did. My whole putting the holes in all these is completely a theoretical thing. I don't know if that's going to be the best way to add in, like connect in these different components I'm building. But for now, I just want to have some sort of, because I imagine if it's a flat surface, it's going to be hard to glue these together. So I figure at minimum, putting some holes in there, I can, put a dowel or something through there. Um, because it's funny because I'm thinking about a bunch of different stuff at the same time here. I'm thinking about what the mocap's going to be, how to make the mocap easy. I want to make it print easy. Um, you know, uh, let's see. And I wanted to also, when I print it and when I put it up in my office, or use it as a prop in one of my shorts, I wanted to be able to everything to stick together and stay together. Um, so if I hang something up here, I put something on this thing's head so that I can hang it from the ceiling. Everything's going to be able to stay together once I attach everything. Um, so it's fun engineering stuff to think about while you're going. Um, let's see. What else can we do here? Um, Sometimes it's fun to just kind of like look through their little experimental stuff. Like, let's see. So I really like a lot of these. Oh, wait, was that one? I really like a lot of these little wire systems. I did learn a valuable lesson in this last print that I kind of have to be careful not to make these too small because they can create problems in my prints. But if I can find a way to kind of work with them within, let's see here, maybe I can make it a like some sort of holder of these wires might be cool. See how that looks. Well, my placement was not quite there, but see if we'll try that again. And I kind of want it to touch a little bit, to be honest, because if it is going to have any problem printing, it does help a little bit to have some contact points. See how that looks. Nope, still not landing that. Okay, we're going to make it real big so I can really see where these two sides are touching the. There we go. Then we're going to pull it forward. And then I do want that little bit of contact up here. Okay, so now it looks like it's some sort of like um, almost holder thing for that those wires come out of. I'm gonna probably just slice off that piece down there. Um, let's add some sort of like sectional piece in here. Oh, you know what? I don't think I created a new layer again. Gotta get better at managing my layers while talking at the same time. Okay, let's do a new layer again. And then this time, actually, I'm going to turn off because I want to show making, the stamps, that's what this is here. Um, so let's turn off the mirror tool. Let me just check in, see if there's any more kind people. Oh, my camera is lagging. Oh no. Well, that's an unfortunate development. Oh, Dreamer has left. Dreamer has left the building. Um, okay, well, we may be operating camless. Oh no. We have now entered the technical difficulty realm. Let's just see real quick if we can redo this. Sure you want to remove this capture device? Yes, let's remove it. Video capture device. Sure. Yep. Okay. Hello. Well, we're back. I don't know why the camera lagged out there or if it'll lag again, but we're back at it. I do need to figure out something to put down here or what part of the screen is good to cover. Um, this is very experimental what we're watching here. Um, I don't know if this is gonna be a posted to my YouTube video, but it'll, you know, the few of you that popped in for the stream will get to experience this experiment. Okay, looks like it's back on the feed. Wow, I wonder how long the camera was not working. Bit of a bummer, but glad we had someone let me know. Okay, back to what we were doing. So, oh yeah, so I got rid of. Let's start building our stamp tool that we're gonna work with here. And so probably I will actually turn on my angle limit again, because I do like that for these, and I have it set to 45 degrees, like I said. So I'm gonna go ahead and build some sort of weird element to kind of repeat over and over again inside this character's body. Let's do, actually gonna add, oops, wrong tool. I'm gonna add one of these little pills in here. Right like that. And then slice away at it. I think I want to add some little components onto this thing. Still figuring out what this is, even, to be honest, but we're just kind of experimenting and sticking stuff on and seeing what looks good and what we don't like, so we can scrap it later, or fall in love with it. Let's see, maybe I'll go bigger with that guy. Actually, we'll go both. Let's go both sides with this. I removed that last one because I saw that it was not very symmetrical. How do we line this up a little better? Looks a little better. Not quite. There are a lot of tools. I feel like this is one of those programs where there's going to be a lot of updates to it. Because there's definitely some things where I'm like, oh, it'd be really nice if there was. Oh, actually, you know what? There is a grid tool. They do have snapping in this. I probably should learn how to use that. My couple attempts at it were a little awkward, to be honest. Let's see how this thing will go in here and look neat or awkward. Well, I think that's kind of cool. I think I need to figure out what I'm doing with this element, this uh, setup up here. Probably, in fact, let's go back to this guy. I'm gonna put a rail down the middle of this. Oops. Oh, something saving or something. Not sure what's happening there. Okay. Put a rail in. And then we'll put one more rail going. In fact, let's just we're going to clean this up a little bit. Definitely takes a little patience. You're just, sticking with the kind of like that, like those little sci-fi indentations that for some reason is in everything. That one went a little aggressive there. There we go. It's kind of cool. That's definitely making me second guess this whole situation up here. I might just go for let's just try chopping this off, see what that looks like. Huh. I don't know, that's kind of neat. Let's see. So, the point of all this, I'm going to add a little more of this guy right here. I want to have, oops, not like that. Not like that. Have it look like we're setting up kind of a little holder situation for this, whatever this spinal tube thing I'm making is. There we go. Don't know what that is, but so we've got our little weird device thing here. And then I can go up to stamp, and it will now make this into an object. So you can see I now have the ability to, the powers to use this as a tool. So now I can get rid of this guy. Oops, that was not what I meant to do. I can hide that one. Let's make a new layer here. And then, oh, I'm once again in the wrong menu there. Okay, so now I can take this little guy and I can go in here. Let's see, how do we want to set up this strange system of rails we've got going? Let's actually, I'm going to turn back on symmetry, or mirror as they call it in the land of Medium. Okay, so let's see what happens. That are now, see, now it did make a low, yeah. Oh, see, look how big that box is out there. Actually, let's check in, make sure my, yeah, camera's still working. Huh, that was weird. I'm not sure why that happened earlier. Anyway, so now the box is huge for this layer. Not really sure what determines that apparently, but we'll decrease it down so it's a little higher resolution. And then actually I can tell that this has tilted my object a little bit, so I'm going to hold this thumbstick and I can kind of rotate it and figure out how I want this to move up and down. There we go, a little more in line with how it's built. So let's just try something and just see what happens with this. So we're going to do this. That's interesting. See how it looks from the front. I'm going to be honest, not my favorite. All right, let's try this again. So that's the thing. I mean, maybe I'm not going to end up liking this tool at all, and I'm not going to use it. But you have a lot of freedom to kind of play with these tools. Well, that might be more interesting. Make them collide with each other a little bit. That looks a lot more spinal, which I kind of dig. Yeah, gotta get my placement lined up better, but it's cool now. We'll have to see what it looks like from the front if I'm still happy with it on the other side. Yeah, that's kind of cool. I like that better at least. And actually, we could try, if we want to get really, really experimental with this thing. Let's see. I'm gonna undo that one. That's probably fine. If we want to get experimental, now I can also grab this move tool, make a move, kind of make it a little bit smaller, and then I'm going to see, how do I want to adjust this? Make it go into the circle, because that circle's kind of that contact point, right? I do like it coming back along this, oop, didn't need to go that far. This back piece, so it kind of starts as a printing point, and then maybe we'll just like move it way forward, not like that. Let's make the brush bigger. So we have a little more. There we go, like something like that. And then I think we're going to need some sort of contact point at the bottom for it to switch into like the abdomen section. Yeah, now we got this cool weird piece going on back there. So I'm going to actually do, uh, let's see, what should I'm going to first put in a piece that this is connecting to. And I'll probably use one of these pre-mades that I kind of like. I do really like these ball ones, but I'm going to try to do a different one. Let's try this one. Okay. So, put this in here. Where's the center? Put that in there. I don't know if I'm digging that. It looks like a petri dish down at the bottom. Okay, let's try something else. Oh, you know what might be neat? Let's go with this one actually. I think we can. That one will probably look pretty good. Oh, actually, you know what I could do? I could make it so that it's these two little sections that kind of, yeah, some sort of bolt thing that this thing's going on. Again, this is gonna, I'll just shave off this whole bottom and put some sort of adjustment thing on the bottom there. Um, I do like how this spine is, but it looks like something should be coming out or like going through those little adapter things to me on the sides maybe. So we'll do a quick little experiment with that. In fact, we're going to turn off the line tool. We're going to smooth out our movements with this tool. And then, let's see, we'll turn off our angle snap. So the smoothing tool is really cool because I made it a little more aggressive than necessary. Let's make it down like this. So let's say we have wires coming out of this guy right here. It's going to use the angle to connect those points, or like not the angle. So you can see, I don't know if you can see it here. Oh yeah, you can see a little sphere around the sphere. So basically when I come to if I'm pulling the trigger and I come to the edge of that, it starts pulling in that direction so that you get nice smooth nice smooth movements. So then I can use that to create these like wire effects. Getting all up in my own grill here. So actually, now that I'm seeing what I'm doing, I should probably start with this top one. One more. Lot of undo. Left thumbstick gets a lot of action in this. Oh, gosh. That's kind of the thing about like working in this VR thing is you do notice that like you'll do a sweep and you were a little bit further or closer to something than you thought you were. Okay, so let's put it right here. I'm going to act like these all come into some sort of like plug system. There we go. There's another one. Bring the other one up. Oh, don't need it clipping through our cool spine geometry there. Ugh, I don't want the collisions. Boy. Okay, and we're almost here. And then our last little guy here. Yeah. All right, so now I've got all this like rib cage of cables coming out of this thing. Um, so now I'm gonna add some some sort of like plug system on here. That's probably a little big. Let's just go with we're gonna go with a primitive actually just to make it real simple so we know exactly when, you know, it's not scaling basically. Okay. There's one little plug section, maybe a little bit bigger than I want. Little tiny taps just do big adjustments sometimes, depending on how much you're zoomed in, I guess. There we go. There's one plug. See how this one looks. Sometimes you just kind of got to lay down the clay to see how it looks so you know whether you're, like it's a little hard to tell how this green shape is uh, laying against the materials until you just pull that trigger. There you go. Yeah. Nope, almost. Cool. Um, they're not exactly in line, but I think I'm kind of okay with that. Um, I'm gonna go ahead and switch layers. So you can actually just pull back on the joystick and grab a layer. I'm gonna switch back to this beginning layer and see. This actually I do need it to have the line option turned on. And then where's my box? Nice simple little box. All right. And then I'm gonna kind of make it look like, oops, not so much. A little heavy-handed there. Oh wait, we're doing I need this grid snapping again. Oops, there we go. There we go. So I'm gonna make it look like it's semi-intentional that these are at an angle. Oops, getting uh, sometimes you gotta kind of smooth it over a little bit. And then I'm gonna add this little like bank off that comes down to feed the last one. Oops, that's I do need to learn the grid system for sure because that would really help with some of this stuff where it's like, that angle's not quite the same angle as what I was working with initially. In fact, I'm not sure I'm totally happy with that. We might just go with a bigger box for now. I'll have to learn how to use the grid system to make that a little more exact, but for now we've got this guy, like so. And then, let's see, probably going to shave off the front of this thing. Oh, you know what? I just figured out what's happening here. Okay. So basically when I turned the rotation, it remembered that for all the tools. So now that I reset that, okay, good. I was like, what is happening right now? Why is vertical not vertical? Okay. Now let's try this. Oh, there we go. Nice and vertical. Now hopefully I should be able to build a little section here Not quite, but close. Oh, I went too far though. Almost, almost. Might have to adjust that little bit right there. That little triangle's gonna need a little adjustment, but other than that, we're back to something very functional. Let's actually get really right in here. Let's make this Mount Everest scale so we can see if that'll help us get more exact with this. Hmm. Well, I think that's pretty good. Nope, no, it's not too pretty good. We're going, oops, just punched my table. Um, yeah, that's the difference between this streaming setup and me sitting in my nice comfy chairs. When I'm in my, you know, big comfy chair, I don't have to worry about punching anything because although my cat does seem to think it's time for pets when he sees me waving my arms around, so that getting, there we go. There we go. Huh, it's still noticeable, but it's usable. Um, interesting. Um, I will actually, now that I'm seeing this, I am going to put like a little rail in this section because I think those, oops, do not have that right angle going. Little rail going. There we go. I like putting little rails in sci-fi things. Those always look nice to me. So it's starting to look like something. Um, I'll probably finish this outside of the stream just to. Oh, you can also tell that yeah. Hmm. Those are on separate layers, so I'm trying to. I think actually there is. I was just watching someone that was saying there's a tool you can. In fact, let's see. Can I see it? Somewhere there's a way I can make it so that the things I do affect all layers. I'm not really sure where that is, but I'll have to look that up too. Let's see. So if I grab this, grab this guy, let's go ahead and chop that off. Um, yeah, it's starting to look like something. That's kind of neat weirdness happening. And then part of this process is kind of figuring out what the printing process is and which side I'm going to print from. At this point, I've committed pretty hard probably to the back being the printed side, so it's going to be like this. So I got to make sure there's no overhangs where stuff is like right here, these little guys, unless I want to add supports. I'm going to want to add some sort of extra little piece of, let's put something there like a 45-degree angle that I can attach to another piece of the print. There we go, like that. And then, oops, gonna have to clean this all up. But yeah, so now that part is in an overhang. Clearly, all of under here is an overhang currently, so I'm gonna have to figure out what my process for that. I might add some little like support beams occasionally to kind of act as like, okay, here's this section. Here's this little section here. Boy, I can already tell. So I'll put like little rings around this guy, like that look like they're metal support rings, so that I know what's holding that tube in place. And then it also acts as an excuse for me to build in some supports to make it so this is print in place. So that's going to be the heaviest thing. Some of these overhangs are pretty steep still, so I might need to put something in there. This one's probably fine because it's 45 degrees, so the overhang is not too steep that I can't print it. And then like this section here, I'll probably have to put something. on there. Um, but then in the end, when I print it, I can stand it up and have these two pieces sitting on top of each other, and that's my gonna be my cool robot. Um, I probably won't worry too much about this back looking perfect. I will. I mean, it's hard for me to just be like, I'm gonna just make it all printable. I do like to be able to, turn the prop around and show the back. So the likelihood that I will not make it all look pretty nice is pretty slim. But um, oops, that's cool. Yeah, so I want it to all kind of mesh nicely, but I do have to figure out solutions for those if I don't want to print with supports, which, like I said, I'm trying not to. So anyway, that's a fun little thing. We'll see if this is something what people want more of, or if I'm just going to go back to, uh, you know, doing my little sit on my couch and print myself.